So welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to discuss about working capital ratios. So this question has appeared in June 2013. So we'll start from the required. So the required is for the change in working capital policy, calculate the change in operating cycle. So that is the first question. The effect on the current ratio, that is the second question. And the finance cost saving, so that is the third part of the question. So we are going to do only requirement A. So we'll start. So we'll start from requirement A. So requirement A asks us the impact, the change in the operating cycle. Okay, change in operating cycle. So that's what the first requirement is. So we'll start. So TGA MNC company has an annual credit sales of 5.4 million and the cost of sales is 2.16 million. Approximately half of the credit sales are exports to a European country, which are invoiced in euros. Financial information relating to TGA is as follows. So we have inventory, trade receivables, trade payables, overdraft. We have net working capital. So TGA Co plans to change working capital policy in order to improve its profitability. This policy change will not affect the current levels of credit sales, cost of sales, or net working capital. So this is a very important statement. As a result of the policy change, the following working capital ratios values are expected. So this is the after the policy change, this is what is going to occur: inventory days, receivable days, payable days. So they have also given other relevant information is as follows. So short-term dollar borrowing rate is 5%, short-term dollar deposit rate is 4%, and assume there are 365 in a days in a year. Okay, so first one is the change in the operating cycle. So there are two operating cycles that we have to do. So one is the existing operating cycle, and the other one is the proposed policy operating cycle. So we have to work out two cycles. So this information is given for the proposed policy operating cycle. So this is like is already available. We can quickly compute the operating cycle for this. But here the current position, okay, the current or existing operating cycle has to be calculated with these numbers. So we have to find out these following ratios. Okay, so we have to find out inventory days, receivable days, and payable days. So this is the formula: 365 inventory divided by cost of sales, and for receivable days it's this ratio, and for payable days it's this ratio. So to compute this ratio, we need two more items. So we need credit sales number. So first we'll find out the credit sales number. Okay, why do we need to find out the credit sale numbers? Because these numbers are in thousand, but the credit sale number is in million. So we have to convert the credit sale number in terms of thousand. Okay, so first we'll work out this. So it is 5.4 million divided by, in thousands we want. So this is the credit sales number. Like similar to this, we also need the cost of sales number. So we'll also have cost of sales here. So we need cost of sales number, and that we'll calculate here. So cost of sales number is 2.16 million. So the cost of sales comes to 2160. So we'll just take these numbers and we'll work them below. Okay, so we'll start from the inventory days. So we just have to apply the formula. So 365. Okay, so the question will mention how many days. So it has mentioned you 365 days. So take 365 days. If question mentions you 360, take that days. So our inventory is 473.4 divided by the cost of sales, which is this number. So get the answer. So we have got for this. So this represents the days. Okay. So all these answers will come in days only. So we'll work out the next one. So it's 365 divided by the receivables. So receivables is 1331.5 divided by the sale number. So credit sales number is here. So we can get the answer. We got it. So next number is payables. So if we take payables, payables comes to 177.5, and the ratio and the divider is the cost of sales. So we get that number. You can add it, and this will give you the operating cycle. Okay, so the operating cycle is also in the days. So we can now get the answer. So the answer is inventory days plus the receivable days minus the payable days. So the answer comes to 140 days. So this is our first answer. So similar to what we have done here, we can also do it for the proposed policy. So for proposed policy, we can quickly do it. So what we can do is we can cut off all these numbers. So we don't need formulas and all now, but we can get the answer. So inventory days is 50 and receivable days is 62 and payable days is 45. So our operating cycle is 67. So what we'll do is we'll take a difference and we'll say that the change in operating cycle, we can copy it and we can have the answer here. So the change in operating cycle is 140 days minus the proposed one. So you can write here as the operating cycle has or will decrease by or okay by 73 days if the proposed policy is implemented. Okay, so that is will be our first answer. Okay, so this is a decrease, so we can bold it if you want. Okay, so that's about our first part. Okay, and the second part is to find out the effect on the current ratio. So current ratio we have to calculate for the existing policy and the proposed policy. For existing policy, working out the current ratio is like very simple. First we'll do that. So we'll have it like this. We'll work out from here. So change in current ratio. Okay, we'll also find out existing current ratio. So first we'll find out the existing current ratio. So current ratio is like very easy to calculate. So it's going to be the inventory, which is 473.4 plus the receivables, which is 1331.5 minus, okay, so that's about the numerator. So numerator first we will put it in a bracket, divided by the trade payables, which is 177.5, and The overdraft, which is 1326.6, we'll close the bracket and we'll get the answer. So the answer comes to 1.19. So we can round it off if we want. Okay, we'll round it off. So the ratio comes to 1.120. Okay, so that's about the current ratio. So we'll find out what is the proposed policy current ratio. So we'll work out here. To work out this, we have to have the ratios again computed, because these days are given in numbers. Sorry, these numbers are given in days. So we have to find out the whole number. To find out the whole number, we have to use the formula like this and we have to convert. So these are the formulas. So we'll get the inventory numbers quickly. So inventory days, which is 50 days, into the cost of sale. The cost of sale is the same number which was calculated above, 2160 divided by 365. So that is the formula. So we got the number. So in similar terms, we'll work out this next number. So the days is 62 for receivables, and it's a sales number that we have to use. So sales is 5400. So we can get the second one. And the third one is for payables. So payable days is 45, and its cost of sales into divided by 365. So we got all these are in dollar and 3 zeros are in thousands. So that's about the numbers. We got it. So now we can find out the current ratio, but there is a problem now, because in this we have the overdraft, but here we don't have the overdraft. So we have to find out the overdraft number. They have indicated in the question that this policy will not affect the current levels of credit sale, cost of sales, or net working capital. So net working capital is not going to change. So net working capital is not going to change. So that number is going to remain the same at 300.8. Okay. So any difference between these numbers and this number will be the overdraft. So overdraft number is a balancing figure. Okay. So we'll work out here. We'll find out like what's the difference. So we have to add both these numbers, and we have to deduct the payables number. So the answer comes to 946.89. So the difference between this number, this 948.6, and the 300.8 should give us a receivable. Okay, so if you want, you can calculate it again. So we'll do it again if you want. So 300, add both these numbers and deduct these numbers. You have to get 308.8. You have got it. So that's about it. It's only for computation purpose, so we can ignore that. So this is our balancing figure. If you want, you highlight it. Now we'll find out the current ratio. So our current ratio is here. So our current ratio will be, open bracket, first number plus this number, that's our numerator, divided by, open bracket, this number plus this number, close the bracket, and let's see the answer. The answer comes to 1.32. Okay, so you can say that the current ratio is, or will be, better after the implementation of the proposed policy. So that's that answer. We still have one more answer, and the last one is finance cost saving. So how is finance? So how is like finance cost saving? Finance cost saving is the difference between the overdraft which you already had, which is 1326.6, minus the new overdraft, because overdraft has reduced. So this number you have to get. So this is the finance cost which has been saved, or the finance which has been reduced. This multiplied by the borrowing rate. The borrowing rate is 5%. So 5% we'll get the answer. So we'll get it here. This number into 5%. So this is what you will save. You will save 34,000. Okay, you will save 34,000. We'll take this number here. We'll put it here. 34,000 you will save because of the reduction in the overdraft amount. Overdraft falls from 1326 to 646. So we will save this much of finance cost. So that's about this answer. Finished it. The other two requirements are like a theory question, and the last one is a hedging question. So that we are not going to do now. So this is about the working capital. So you hope you have understood this. We'll move on to the next sum. So we'll start from here. So this question is about overtrading, and it has appeared in June 2016. So we'll start from the required. Required is evaluate whether cargo can be considered to be overtrading and discuss how overtrading can be overcome. So it's a two-part question. You have the word and. So you have to first find out whether the company is overtrading, and then you have to find out like how to overcome this. So we're not going to discuss about the theory question here. We're only bothered about the numerical question here. So we'll start. So Cargo is concerned that it may be overtrading. They have given you the financial information for 2005 and 2004. So you have all the numbers: credit sales income, cost of sales, inventory, trade receivables, trade payable, overdraft, net working capital, long-term debt, and they have given you some days numbers and ratios also. But these ratios are companies which are similar to Cargo have the following average values for 2005. These are average values of competitors, and assume there are 360 days in a year. So they have given you all the information here. Our job is to find out the relevant ratios which are required. So what we'll do is we'll start from computation. We'll start from computation of ratios. Okay, so that's going to be, first we'll start from change in year on year percentage. Okay, how it's like changing. So if you have read the theory, there are like few numbers which are key. Year on year you have to find out those numbers, how they are moving. So the first number would be credit sales number, that's important. Then inventory number, that's another important number. Then trade receivables, so we'll mark it as TR. Trade payables is an important number. Overdraft is a very important number. So these are like very important numbers. So first we'll calculate these. So how do we work out year on year? So year on year formula works like this. If you want, we'll mark year on year formula here. Year on year percentage is equal to the latest year, latest number, minus oldest number divided by oldest number into 100. You will get the answer. So that is what we are going to do. So that is what we are going to do. So we'll start. So 17,100 minus 12,000. This number has to be in bracket divided by the oldest number, which is 12,000, and into 100. So you will get the percentage. So that is a 42.5 percentage of change. Okay, it's a percentage number. So if you want, you can copy it for all the numbers. All the numbers are going to be in percentage only. So we'll have the same formula for all the years, and we'll work out the difference alone. So inventory is going to be 2500, and the previous year inventory is 2100. This is also going to be 2100. Done. So the next number is trade receivables. So trade receivables is equals to 2000 and 1000. So we got the number. Trade payables is going to be 1900, and the previous year it is 1250. So we got for trade payables, and overdraft is 2400, and 850. So we'll get the answer. So we got the answers for these, and before commenting on them, we'll also work out some other ratios. If the question has given you some ratios, you have to calculate those ratios. So we'll calculate these ratios. So in terms of days, we have to calculate. So what is our formula here? So our formula will be like this. So we'll work out the number here. So 365 into the inventory. So the inventory is 2500 divided by the cost of sales. So the cost of sales is 8550. We got that number. So the next is receivables. So receivables again 365 into the receivables is 2000 divided by the sales. So the sales is 17,100. So we got then this number. We'll take the same inventory days word number. So payables is 1900 divided by cost of sales. It's already there. So we got the number. Okay, so this is an amount. So we'll also work out the current ratio. The current ratio is, we'll quickly do it. So 4500 divided by 4300 is the current ratio, and the quick ratio is either way going to be very similar to this. Okay, the numerator will be only the trade receivable, which is 2000, and current liabilities. So we got all the numbers here. So these are the symptoms of overtrading. Okay, so we have to find out whether the symptoms are yes or a no, whether it's a yes or a no. So we'll find it out. So we'll start. So is there a rapid sales in increase in sales? The answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. And is there a gradual increase in current assets? So current assets has increased from 3100 to 4500. Yes. Is there a rapid increase in current liabilities? The current liability is like doubling here. So yes, is there an increased reliance on overdraft? Overdraft has gone to 182%. So again, yes. Decline in current ratio and quick ratio. Quick ratio and current ratio should fall. So for that, we have to work out the previous year numbers. But rather than comparing with previous numbers, we can also compare with the industry numbers. So industry number is current ratio is 1.7, our company is 1, and quick ratio should be 0.8, our company is 0.4. So is it a symptom? Yes, again it's a worse position. There should be an increase in sales divided by net working capital. So that is also an indicator. We can do that. Also, there will be an increase in year-on-year sales, inventory, debtors, creditors, and overdraft. All these numbers should increase. All these numbers are increasing. Again, we can say this as yes, and that's what they want. This alone we have not done. So if you look at here, all of these are symptoms of overtrading. If the mark is a higher mark, for example here only 4 marks are available for calculations. If we keep calculating too much, we'll be like ending or eating up a lot of time. So we don't need to calculate a lot of ratios here, because to find out the symptoms of overtrading, you can still work out a few more ratios. For example, you can work out the same ratios for the 2004 year. Okay, but we don't need to do that because we don't have marks available for that. We also didn't do this ratio, sales divided by net working capital, so that we have not done. So what happens is the mark availability is quite low here. That's why we don't need to calculate those ratios. But still, if you want, we can calculate it. We can calculate it and we can find out. So we'll calculate for one more ratio, which is called as a net working capital turnover ratio. So this is the ratio. So we'll work out this one. So it is called as net working capital turnover ratio. So the formula is the same. Formula sales by net working capital. So we'll get that number. So sales number is 17100 divided by net working capital. We have it here. It's 2. It's a turnover ratio. So it is 85.5 times. Okay. So it is a very high ratio here. So if you want, we have worked out for 2005 year. If you want, you can work out for the 2004 year and you can find out how these numbers are moving. Okay, so mostly the question would have been set in terms of these numbers will be lower and these numbers ratios, the numbers will be higher. So this will indicate the overtrading position. So that's about this problem. So overtrading is a very important concept. Ensure that you understand it really well. We'll move on to the next problem. So the next problem is early settlement discount and inventory discount. This question was asked in June 2011. So the question asks you, the first question is a theory question. The second question is the calculation question. Calculate if ZCO will benefit financially by accepting the offer of early settlement discount and the bulk purchase discount. Okay, so there are like two problems here and the marks is 7 marks. So it is like 3.5 and 3.5. Both these are like very small problems. So we'll quickly calculate it. So this is what we are going to calculate initially. So we'll start. So we'll start from a formula for this. So this is the formula for early settlement discount. So early settlement discount is a discount which is given by the company or by the creditor to encourage the quicker settlement of debts. So we have to read this question to understand whether it's going to be receivable or a payables question. But ESD works like this: 100 divided by 100 minus the discount to the power of 365 divided by old days minus new days. So that's how it works. So we need certain numbers here to calculate. We need what is D, discount rate we need. Then we need old days. Then we need new days. These numbers are what we require initially. We need these numbers. So first we'll start from the question. ZCO places monthly orders with the supplier for 10,000 components that are used in its manufacturing process. Annual demand is 1,20,000 components. The current terms are payment in full within 90 days, which ZCO meets, and the cost per component is 7.5. The cost of ordering is 200 per order, while the cost of holding components is $1 per component per year. The supplier has offered either a discount of 0.5 for full payment in full within 30 days, okay, or a discount of 3.6 on orders of 30,000 or more components. If the bulk purchase discount is taken, the cost of holding components in inventory would increase to 2.2 per component per year due to the need for a larger storage facility. Assume that there are 365 days in a year and ZCO can borrow at 4.5%. What they have done in this question is they have confused both the information for both these questions. Okay, so that is what the trick of this question is. So you should be able to find out which numbers we require and we have to calculate. So here what is happening is the supplier, okay, so this is in terms of the payables, because the supplier is offering us offer. If we settle it, the payables in a quick manner, normally he gives us 90 days of payment delay, but now he says if we are able to pay in 30 days, he will give us a discount. The discount will be 0.5%. So it's 0.5% of discount he will give us. Okay, so he will give us this percentage of discount. So if we pay early in 30 days, we'll get this discount. Our job is to compare whether we can accept this or not. Okay, so first we'll find out the ESD so that it's quite easy for us to make a decision. So the ESD formula is 100 divided by 100 minus this number, or if you want we'll put the number itself, 0.5, close the bracket, we'll get a number. This number to the power of, again we'll open the bracket, 365 divided by, again we'll open a bracket, old days is 90 and new days is 30. We'll close the bracket. So we'll have one more bracket for this term. So if you want, we'll break the numbers like this. So this is what we computed. So we can also break the computation a little bit easier for you to understand. So we'll have like this. So we'll work out both these parts separately so that it's easier for you to understand. When you compute this number alone, it comes to 1 point this number, and to the power of, this comes to 6.08. Now if you calculate, we'll again get the same answer. So this number to the power of this number, we'll get the same answer. So this is now easier to understand. So this is what our number is. This number can also be expressed as a percentage. So what happens is it becomes, in this formula you have to have a -1 and into 100, which you can get to get a percentage. So once you get an answer, you deduct it by 1 and get a multiplied by 100, you will get 3.09. So this is a percentage number. So this percentage number is the benefit that you get by paying the payables early. Okay, so the benefit of paying early is 3.09 percentage, and the overdraft rate, that is if you borrow, you have to pay 4.5 percentage. So if you borrow at overdraft and pay the supplier, you will get only like 3% as the benefit. So whether will you do it? The answer is no. So the suggestion will be, as the overdraft rate is more than the ESD, it is better to avoid the ESD. So it's better to avoid the ESD. So that's what the suggestion is. So we'll move to the second part of the question, which is the bulk purchase discount. So we'll start. So the bulk purchase discount we have to follow, and there is a old policy and a new policy. These are the few numbers that we have to calculate: the cost of the purchase, the holding cost, the ordering cost. The formulas for this, you have to look at the formula sheet. So we'll work out directly here. So we'll start. So what is the cost of purchase? If you look at this question here, it says the company is going to make a monthly order of 10,000 units, that is an annual demand of 1,20,000 components. So the company is going to buy 1,20,000 worth of goods every year, and they pay for it. They pay 7.5 per component, 0.5 per component. So that's about the first number. The second one is the holding cost. So the holding cost is going to be, once we order, we get how many units? We will be like getting 10,000 units. We'll get 10,000 units, and we'll hold these units up to it becomes 0. So once it becomes 0, we'll again order, and again we'll get a 10,000. But averagely we hold around 5,000. So that's what this formula tells you. So averagely we hold 5,000 units. So we will again have another bracket. So 5,000 units, and this has to be multiplied by the holding cost per unit. What is the holding cost per unit? So it is here, it is $1 per unit. Then we have an ordering cost. Ordering cost is every time you order, you have to pay. So totally you buy 1,20,000 units in a year, and you buy in batches of 10,000. So you would have bought 12 batches. Each batch when you buy is an ordering cost. An ordering cost is 200 amount. Okay, so this is what the numbers are. So we will put it as amount and we'll calculate it. Okay, we got all the numbers. So what is the total cost of doing all this? So that will be this number. So the total cost of purchase under this policy is 9,07,400. So now we'll move on to the proposed policy. So we'll copy the entire same set of data and we'll put it here. So we'll work out for the proposed policy. So all these numbers are going to remain same except for the calculation here. See, if we are going to buy in bulk, he says the supplier has offered a discount of 0.5 in full within 30 days. So that is about the early settlement discount, or a discount of 3.6 on orders of 30,000 or more components. So if you buy 30,000 or more components, we'll get a 3.6% discount. If the bulk purchase discount is taken, the cost of holding components in inventory would increase to 2.2 per component per year due to the need for larger storage facility. So only few numbers are changing. So the first number that changes is we get a discount. How much discount we get? We'll work out like this. So out of for every 100%, we get a 3.6 percentage discount. So we'll divide this by 100 also. And the holding cost is going to increase, and the numbers will also increase because every time we hold, we'll be like holding how many? We'll be holding 30,000 because we have to buy in bulk, and the holding cost will increase, he says. So that goes to 2.2. So that's what he mentions here. The holding cost goes up. The ordering will be 1,20,000 units in a year, but every time we buy in 30,000, and the ordering cost is going to remain the same. So the numbers are going to change now. We'll work out those numbers. So we'll start. So the first number is this. The second number is going to be this. And the third number is going to be. So we got the new cost. So what we'll do, we'll have the suggestion here. We'll have the suggestion. So the suggestion will be the cost of purchase is lower in the proposed policy, hence we can buy in bulk. So that's about the statement. So that's about this question. We have finished this question. We'll move on to the next one. So the suggestion is the cost of purchase is lower under the proposed policy, so we can accept that policy and we can move ahead. So that's about this problem. We'll move on to the next one. This problem is about early settlement discount and inventory discount. So this question has been asked in December 2016. So the requirement is evaluate whether Nesud Enco should accept the early settlement discount offered by its supplier. Evaluate whether Enco should adopt an economic order quantity approach to ordering the component. And so they're asking you to first about the early settlement discount. So we'll work out that. Then they're asking you whether an EOQ is the right approach for ordering inventories. So two questions are there. So first we'll work out with requirement A. So requirement A is early settlement discount. So first we'll read the question. So Enco has a credit sales of 445 million per year and on average settles accounts with trade receivables, trade payables after 60 days. One of its suppliers has offered the company an early settlement discount of 0.5% for payment within 30 days. Administration costs will be increased by 500 per year if the early settlement discount is taken. Enco buys components worth 1.5 million per year from this supplier. That is what we are concerned about, the components which are purchased. So the information thereafter given is for the EOQ. So finally we'll go to the third paragraph. The finance director of Enco is concerned that approximately 1% of credit sales turns into irrecoverable debts. In addition, she has been advised that customers of the company take an average of 65 days to settle the accounts, even though Enco requires a settlement within 40 days. So again, this is about the receivables. So we are not bothered about the receivables. We are bothered only about the payables. Okay. So you don't need to take this information. Enco finances working capital from an overdraft costing 4%. So overdraft is used. So that is 4%. And there are 360 days in a year. So that is an assumption. So first we will find out whether the ESD offered by the supplier has to be accepted or not. The current policy, is benefit from delayed payment. That's a benefit from the delayed payment. So it works like this. The company has 1.5 million of credit purchase. So we'll multiply it by millions. This number, they are making a delay of payment of 60 days. The total year days is 360. So when you do this, you will get the receivables total, the payables total amount. The benefit of delaying is 4%. So we'll work out the number, or we'll have 4 divided by 100. So this will give you an answer. So that comes to 10,000. So now we'll move on to the next one, the proposed policy. We'll copy this and we'll work it out here. The proposed policy. So the benefit delay from delayed payment will now fall. It won't be this number. It will fall to 30 days because the question says the payment has to be made within 30 days. So we can't have this number. It will become 30 days and our answer will change here. And also because of this, we'll get a benefit, that is a early settlement discount. So early settlement discount is a benefit that we get. So that benefit is how much? We'll be getting 0.55% as the benefit on what number? On the entire purchase. Okay, so this is a benefit that we'll get. And apart from this, there is an admin cost. So there is an admin cost which comes to 500. So this 500 is a cost, so we'll take it as a negative number. So we'll work out now. So we got 5,000 for that, and we'll find out this. So now we'll get the total benefit under proposed policy. So that comes to, that is nothing but a sum. So that comes to 12,000. So if we say that the incremental benefit that we get is the 2000, that's the difference between the 12 minus the 10. So we get incremental benefit of 2000 by, okay, I think we'll put here, by selecting or by accepting the early settlement discount. So we'll get a benefit. So we can accept the early settlement discount. So that is about the requirement A. So we'll move on to the requirement B. So requirement B works like this. So the B is a EOQ sum. So first we have to find out the total cost under existing method. Okay, then we will find out, okay, sorry, it's the total cost under existing method. Then we have to find out the total cost under EOQ method. Okay, So to do this, we should have these three costs, and here also we'll have the three costs. So we will go a little bit below. So we'll start. So we'll start with the cost of purchase, and then we'll keep moving. We'll read the question once. From a different supplier, N Co purchases 2.4 million per year of component at a price of 5 per component, and consumption of component K can be assumed to be at a constant rate throughout the year. The company orders components at the start of each month in order to meet demand, and the cost of placing each order is 248.44. The holding cost for component K is 1.06. So we'll start from here. We have the question here. So the cost of purchase is not going to change under this method and under this method, because only the holding cost is going to change. There is no discount or anything that is they are going to give. So as they are not giving any discount, you can actually remove this item. Still the answer will be the same. So we don't need to unnecessarily come use it. So we'll remove it. So we have these costs alone. So that we'll try to work out. So we'll start from the holding cost under the existing method. So the holding cost will be, first we have to find out how many items they are buying. See, they are not telling you how many units they are buying, but they have given you indirect information. So we can put it here. Annual demand, we can find it out here. Annual demand would be 2.4 million is what they buy. So 2.4 million of goods they are buying, and each item is of 5 rupees. So if we calculate this, we'll get the annual demand. So this is the units per annum. Okay, so if we work out the per month, so if you work out monthly demand, if work out monthly demand, that will be the same number, 4,80,000 divided by 12 months. So we can take that and we can work out here. So this will be units per month. Why we can say this is per month? Because if you look here, he says consumption of component K can be assumed to be at a constant rate throughout the year. So constantly they are buying. So every month they are buying 40,000 units. So with this information, we can calculate the holding cost. So we'll start from here. Okay. So the holding cost will work out like this. The company buys 40,000 units, and this 40,000 up to 0 they will wait, and once it has becomes to 0 they will again order it. So averagely they will hold this many of items. The holding cost they would have given you here, it is 1.06 per unit. So it is 1.06 per unit. So we'll have another bracket here and here. Okay, so that's about the holding. The ordering cost will work like this. The company makes an order of how many orders? So the company will make, totally they require 4,80,000 units divided by 40,000 units. So in a year they will make 12 orders. Okay, I hope it's 12. Yes, I think it's 12 orders into each order when they make, it comes to 248.44. So that is the amount. So once that is done, we can get the sum here. We can get the sum here. So we'll do the same logic for the, so first we'll get this answer and then we'll go for the EOQ method. So we'll get the answer for these. So we got the total purchase cost for this. So now we'll move on to the total cost under EOQ method. For EOQ method, we have this formula square root of 2AB by CS. So to do this formula, we require certain numbers. We require A, which is annual demand. We require B, which is the ordering cost. We need C, which is cost per unit, and we need S. Okay, so we need these numbers. First, we'll try to find out whether these numbers are there. So A is the annual demand. So annual demand in units is here. It's 4,80,000. Done. B is ordering cost, which is 248.44. C, if it's there, it's okay. If it's not there, still we can work it out, because C will be usually a number, but yes will usually will be in percentage. But if yes is in a number, so in this question yes is a number, then you don't need C at all. Okay, so only when yes is a percentage we need C as a number. If yes itself is a number, so it is given as 1.06, we don't require C at all. Okay, so that's about how the sum works. So we'll go to the formula. So the formula works like this: 2 into A into B, that's your numerator, divided by C. So this first has to be computed. So once you have computed this, then you have to take a power. So the power comes to 0.5. So take the power, you will get the answer. Let's see the answer, and that's the answer. It's 15,000 units. So based upon this, so this is a unit. If you work out in a calculator, the answer would be like very easy to do. So we'll work out. So we'll take these numbers as the base, and we'll do it here. Okay. So the earlier method took 40,000 units that has to be bought, but now we have our EOQ is 15,000. For that we'll compute. So earlier, wherever you have 40,000, you can remove that. So we can work out this. We can have a suggestion here. So the suggestion is, as the EOQ method of purchase is lower than the current policy, it is better to use EOQ method. So that's about the suggestion here. So our suggestion is, as the EOQ method of purchase is low cost than the current policy, because our current policy is 24,000, but the EOQ method gives our purchase cost at 15,900. So it's better to go for this. See, when compared to normal problems, we have not taken the purchase price. The reason is the purchase price is going to be the same. There's no discount offered in the purchase price. Okay, for ordering through EOQ or this method or the existing method. So what we do is we ignore the common purchase cost, and we just take the numbers which will differ under both the methods. So that's about this problem. So we have worked out both the problems.